Fuck. Ah, yes. What? No ammo? Fuck, no ammo. Ah, I hate this game. Oh shit, we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, and Stifler, thank you very much for tuning in to our weekly talk show. Last week we interviewed Jat from Wildcard to give us an extremely insightful look into who and how he would do on the island with the rest of the Wildcard team. Oh my god, this mask. How does anyone play in this thing? Okay. Holy shit. How's my hair? Is it good? Okay. So we had made some visual improvements to our show based on feedback from the community, and we'll continue to make those improvements. However, it probably doesn't look so great right now because it's a process, everyone. So get off our backs. Okay. Now, you can give us more feedback by dropping that in Discord and talking to Jackal or Astron or I. Now I would like to get into why we're actually here. Because my parents didn't tell me they loved me enough. I mean, no, wait, sorry. That's my other show, my therapist. Now, tonight, actually, we have a very special guest, the notorious poopieQueen. She's the lead community manager from Bluehole, the developers who are behind the insanely popular Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. She's a social media guru, a PR specialist, and entered the gaming world initially as interpreter for Brendan Green and the developers at Bluehole. She picked up the lead in community management and established one of the strongest communities out there. So without further delay, let's bring her on. Okay. And while we're bringing her on, I would like to announce the winners from yesterday's tournament is Fitty and Posty. They won the overall points total by, I believe, just 1 point. And the top 3 teams were separated by only 2 points total. So congratulations to them. And hopefully we will see another good tournament next week. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
No,
I really appreciate that. How are you doing tonight? It is tonight there, right?
No, it's 2:30 a.m., so I wouldn't say tonight.
Wow, so it's closer to morning, really.
Yes.
Okay, well, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we brought you on here because we want to know about who you are. I see you all over my timeline. I see you over everyone else's timeline. Everyone I follow talks to you. Scoom, Hayes, all the people that are very competitive in your game. And so I figured we should have you on to figure out who you are and to get to know you better, you know? So I would like to start off with our normal format, level 1, right? Very easy questions. At least I hope so. And so I'll start off with basically, I mean, okay, you're known as poopieQueen, but that can't be your real name, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do people normally call you? I mean, like that know you personally.
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, like starting from this year, people started to call me Mom, Mom of PUBG, or Queen of PUBG, but in real life they call me Sammy, Sam, or even like my Korean friends call me Sammy because, I'm Sammy on Twitter Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I do have a Korean name, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So did they call you that? Is that a nickname that you got? Like, was that given to you when you were growing up? Like, for instance, Scoom, we talked to Scoom, and Scoom said that his name was given to him by his older brother about basically in reference to how big his head was when he was younger. And that's where the name originates from. So, like, does Sammy originate from anywhere?
You mean the nickname poopieQueen?
Yeah. I'm sorry, the nickname poopieQueen.
Okay. Yeah. So, I used to play Warcraft 3 with my ex 10 years ago, and I suck at games. And he kept telling me that you gotta stop pooping on my strategy, you suck at games. But we would still play together. So he started calling me Poopy, and that's how, the nickname was born. And I decided to call myself poopieQueen when I got this job because I knew that a lot of people were going to be teasing me for sucking at our own game because I suck at games in general. So I just wanted to be honest about that I'm the queen of poopies in all games.
So you kind of lean into it. I got you. That's basically the way I am. You have to own it so no one else can like really, once you own it, like who's going to make fun of you for it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically like me. Like I can't win chicken dinners. I have to order takeout all the time in your game. That's basically how it goes, right? So
I never even got to try takeout.
Really, not even.
Yeah.
See, for me, takeout's like top 10. If I get there, I consider it a win. It's like I tried to make a chicken dinner and I really messed it up, and so I was like, well, screw it, I'll just order takeout. That's basically how it is.
The closest I got was when I streamed H1Z1 last year. This great Korean Battle Royale player, Isco Korea, took me to top 2, and I just had to shoot this one guy with almost like 10% health, and I panicked, and then I was just shooting everywhere, but not the person. So I got top 2 in H1Z1, came with a kill, and that was it. I've never been to top 10 or top 20 after that in any Battle Royale games.
Well, hey, at least you got there. Some people don't even get there.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure top 2 is like that's where I've actually gotten to. I've only gotten to top 2 either. So basically you and I are the same. So we should never ever team up because we would actually it would be like, how in math 2 negatives make a positive? Yeah. For us, it would be the opposite. We would probably just end up dying first, it seems like.
Well, if we got our gunplay programmer and lead animator, Marek and Pavel, in our squad, maybe it's a possibility that
they could make up for our lack of talent, is what you're saying?
Yes, they're really good.
Yeah. That's basically how I play games. Who is going to make up for my lack of skill and carry me,
I think Marek, our gunplay programmer, will carry me, while Pavel could carry you.
I would appreciate that. Obviously, I'm not even good with putting on correct outfit for the game. I mean, I made up my own loot, and the first thing I grabbed was a frying pan. How bad am I in real life? I can set it up, I can gear it to myself, and the first thing I grabbed was a frying pan. I'm horrible. I mean, I'm basically gaming the game to myself, and I still messed it up.
I swear, there's no one in this community that is worse than me as a PUBG player.
I think we'd all love to see. You should stream sometime. I think you would get a lot of people watching.
I would love to. As soon as E3 and DreamHack Summer 2017 are over, I'd love to stream and play games with people in our community.
That would be fantastic. I would pay to watch that. I mean, maybe not in money, but like high fives or hugs or something. Like, I mean, something we could sure work out. Yes. Okay, so who came up with chicken dinners, by the way?
So I believe it is not something that Brandon Playerunknown used for the first time. I heard that very long time ago in Las Vegas. I don't know how many years ago it was, but when you played a game at a casino and then won a game, you got about I forgot the amount of the money, but it was $5 or $7, like back in the days. And that was the cost of a chicken dinner back then.
Okay.
So you win a game, and then at the casino, people will tell you, you just got a chicken dinner as a winner. So that's where the entire phrase like came from. And I think Playerunknown started using that in his old VR mods, and that's how it became a thing in a Battle Royale game. And I'm pretty sure it used to be available in H1Z1 and King of the Kill as well, when it was a Battle Royale event mode back in the days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Actually, I've only won one time at Vegas, and I think it was blackjack, and the guy. No, I'm sorry, it was craps, and the guy said winner, winner, chicken dinner. But I never knew where like that came from, so I just assumed that people say that wherever, you know. But I guess that makes sense at a casino, you know. Okay, so speaking of that, do you even like chicken dinners?
I love fried chicken and roasted chicken. People think that I'm posting pictures of like chicken dinners just because of our game, but like 24-hour food delivery is huge in Korea. You can order food anytime, almost anywhere, unless you live in the mountains. And fried chicken is one of the most popular menus that are ordered through those like.
So it's just a coincidence for you. Speaking of which, is that what made you jump on with Bluehole? You're like, yes, chicken. I love chicken too. This seems like a perfect fit. Like, is that how you got into it?
No, but you know, I used to be a pesco vegetarian like many years ago, but I started to eat chicken and beef because of health reasons and stuff. But I didn't know winner chicken dinner was such a huge thing in Battle Royale games. But all our dev teams just enjoy eating chicken. And then, you know, sometimes when we work late hours because we have to fix critical bugs, fried chicken is like the most common thing that we would order for like nighttime snacks. So.
I feel like if you guys ever do like tournaments and like you know really big esports, that eventually you'll have to get some kind of like deal with like a chicken company, so you can actually offer real chicken like dinners at them.
Well, I've seen a lot of events or fun competitions that are hosted by Twitch or streaming platforms from other countries that offer like fried chicken coupon to winners of the competition.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we look into, Jackal.
Yeah. Well, it was easy to pull off in Korea because Twitch Korea did a competition a few weeks ago that if you win a competition or post like a chicken dinner receipt from PUBG, you'd get like a free coupon to order fried chicken from this certain brand. It was easy to host that. You could do it with KFC. I don't know if KFC would be interested in working with us, but there's a lot of KFC in the States, so
yeah, there is. You could get a lot of there's a partnership available. I'm sure KFC would go along with that, So speaking of which, actually, how did we know that you were a translator for Ren. How did you meet him? How did you get involved with him in that way? And when did you guys meet?
I was actually hired like temporarily to interpret for our team's first meeting with Brandon. It was via Skype. So I was translating for our leadership so they could talk to Brandon. So I was translating for that. And back then I was working for an e-commerce company in Korea as an interpreter. So I was, it was my first year as a professional interpreter after graduating from my grad school, and I majored in Korean to English interpretation. And I was offered this job as a translator for Playerunknown and the executives and the developers of the PUBG team. And I thought it would be a really interesting opportunity because I could use my experience as a public relations consultant as well as a crisis communication consultant. So I thought maybe I'll start off as a translator, and then if there are opportunities, I could, take on challenges and help the team communicate with its community. It was a possibility.
It seems like it worked out.
Yeah, it did. Fortunately.
It seems like your master plan unfolded exactly how you wanted it to.
Well, the dev team was really small last year when we started. We had about 20 people in the dev team. So it was a small team. And I knew that at some point the dev team would have to reach out to the community, and I would, start helping out with little things. So, and I didn't know, I was not guaranteed any job like in the beginning. It was like a constant challenge every single day, every single week. I had to prove that I love this community. I love interacting with the players. And it was like a constant challenge for almost a year to prove that, although I'm not a good FPS player, although I don't understand every single, I have to be honest, like people ask me questions about the game and I do my best to answer all the questions after talking to the devs. Some of the questions I know like the answers to those questions like right away, but there are some like complicated like mechanics. They're difficult to, get the answers right away. And I am like really busy these days that I can't stream. I can't even play our game like once in a week. And I feel like, I believe that a lot of community managers feel this way, live this way as well. Like we should be playing our games like the most, but it's really hard when you have like a really thriving community and you have to attend to a lot of events and programs. I don't get.
Seems like you need your own Sammy.
Yes.
Yeah, and I understand about the not guarantee a job. I'm that way with Jackal. Jackal told me I had to do this for 5 years before he'll give me an official like full-time job. So I completely understand. I've only been doing this for about 6 months, so I'm working my way there. So I can empathize with you on that. Okay, so you talked about like what you're doing, and that kind of like jumps us to level 2, the questions. You talked about you're very busy all the time, right? So what do you do 24/7? Like, what are your day-to-day responsibilities? You said you're very busy, so I'm sure the list goes on and on and on. But what are some of your biggest things that you do? Like, what do you do first thing in the morning? What do you have to go throughout the day? What do you get yourself into essentially?
It used to be a very simple, short list last year, but it's still, I was still busy even when we were in alpha and beta. I was reaching out to hundreds of content creators and alpha testers so they would have access to our alpha and beta test, and I would manage our community channels and also work with different people in the team to communicate with the players in the community. But this year we are part of different events such as E3, DreamHack Summer, and I, am involved in a lot of things that are happening around those events. And I'm still very active on Twitter. I think it's one of the...
I think active is an understatement, really.
Yeah, sometimes I try to shut off Twitter and focus on like really urgent stuff, but I really can't because I know that there are people looking for answers to really urgent issues, and I try to answer people as fast as I can because I think that's really important. So people feel that they're heard and they have their questions answered. And besides that, I work with our community team to build a lot of programs to highlight certain content creators and members of the community. There are a lot of programs that are being worked on.
Is it kind of like Dear Someone?
Huh?
Is that like similar to like what has been happening with Dear Someone, him making the weekly highlights?
No, he has been doing that himself, really. I've been talking to him a lot about what we could do, and we want to, officially start working with him. And he has been doing that himself. He puts like so much work into that. We like the whole dev team watches it every week, and we're gonna start going to work with him officially starting from this month. But he has been doing awesome work. But
yeah, he has. In fact, I've even like made my mom watch some of the videos. I'm like, Mom, what the? And she like doesn't get it, so I have to then explain to her like what's happening in it. That's how awesome I think he does. Because normally I'm not showing my mom like video game clips, but I'm like, no, Mom, look at this, look at this.
it's a highlight.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, that's so nice. But I'm sure when she walks away, she probably is like to my dad, like, what did we do wrong? Like I'm sure that's how that. She just nods and smiles. Yeah, see, you're doing it right now. Exactly. You got it. So, okay. So it seems like your day is really, really busy. Do you get much chance to like have personal time at all right now? Or are you just like personal time's out the window? Or is this your personal time? Am I taking away your personal time? Oh God, I feel so bad if I am. Please say no, you're working. Please don't make me feel bad.
No, it's fine. Because I think this is a great opportunity for me to really connect with members of our community. These days, like our community team is growing. Recently, I hired about 7 people for our community team. So I've been busier than before, and I thought I couldn't be busier last year and this year in January and February, but we have a growing team, and we've hired like great people for Russia, Brazil, Portugal, and we have a full partnerships team so we could expand the partners program and also adopt a new program to highlight like smaller content creators and help them grow their community. So the answer would be, I don't want to say this because people would think that our dev team is forcing me to like work overtime, but I volunteer to, put myself out there and make myself as much as available for the community. And I think like this job is my life. People talk about work and life balance, and they say that you should really put aside some time for yourself. But I do like take some time off watching Twitch.
It's kind of a balance, right? So life is like waves, like up and down and stuff like that, right? It's kind of like vibration waves or whatever, and like from a science standpoint. And sometimes you focus a lot more on work, and other times you don't, right? So I'm sure that there'll be time in the future where you can then sit back and not have to, focus on so much at work, and you can maybe even take a vacation or something. I know that the V word when you're doing like new companies like this is like very like off the table. But I feel like life is very balanced like that, but it's not always balanced in every moment. It's there's entropy that happens. Like you go up and down and you get like overworked, and then you get try to balance that out eventually, because if not, you'll die at a really young age, I'm sure.
Well, I wouldn't see it that way while I'm like on this job, because this is what I wanted to do like 5 years ago or 4 years ago when I was working for a PR firm. I always wanted to work for a company that is open to customers' feedback, and that's definitely hard when you work in a company that makes other consumer products.
Right.
I think this is only possible because we're working in a publisher that is very open to community feedback, and our dev team really cares about what the community says about Battle Royale games and how it should be. When I worked at this PR firm many years ago, I was working in a PR agency, so I was working for my clients. But even when I talk to my clients or my counterparts in those companies, they're very discouraged to listen to their customers. They had to listen to what they were told to communicate to their core customers and target audience. And I have been dreaming of this sort of job for many years, and then I gave up and then decided to become an interpreter. So I'm just living my dreams. So I wouldn't, see this job that way, really.
Well, I think what you pointed out is that, like, as you said earlier, like talking to people, like one of the things as human beings we crave is just being acknowledged and accepted, right? And I think, as you stated there, talking to your customers, just even acknowledging them. So if somebody writes a bad review online or something, sending them a message and being like, "I'm so sorry this happened to you," immediately like brings down their anger level, and stuff like that. Just the fact that you're reaching out. And it's interesting to see, and I'm sure you've seen it yourself, but like different gaming companies kind of like you and since we had Jad on here last week, Wildcard both do it very well, where there's like this transparency, this open line of communication, which you haven't seen in video games before. I used to play a lot of Halo, but I don't ever remember tweeting or talking to anybody from Halo like online ever. It seems like it's just this brand, and then there's customers, and there's nothing in between there. Do you? You said you hired more people to do that. It makes me kind of excited to be in part of the community, because that can only grow and makes the community more fun, right? Because you feel like you're connected to the thing itself. And I'm sure that you yourself have gotten to meet and talk to other people you would have gotten to by doing it that way. And I bring up the Scoom thing because we interviewed Scoom, and mainly because I see like he tweets at you like 40 times a day. And so I'm sure Scoom and people like Hayes and stuff like that are an example of the benefit of that. So that's the benefit. So I have two questions here. But for instance, like what is the hardest thing that you've experienced as the lead community manager for Bluehole in this new, I guess, type of environment for you specifically?
Hardest thing. I saw, I get asked this question a lot by different people, but I think, I've been lucky to have the support of our dev team to be, really interactive with the community, because I know that, some dev teams don't allow community managers to do that because there's a risk involved. And
were you worried about that at first?
Yeah, because, for example, for the new people who have joined the team, they have to learn, like, how can they be transparent? And you have to learn how to communicate with the community. Like, you can be totally honest, but, like, you have to think of the messaging, and you have to be aligned with what everybody, what the rest of the team is saying, And, I've been just lucky to have the support of the dev team, I'd say. But, you do have that kind of fear. When we first decided to lift the NDA for alpha tests, we were really afraid that people were going to say, this is garbage. Like, I don't understand, how can they, do an alpha test with this type of build? We were like legitimately like afraid and scared what people were going to say. But, Brandon and a few people in the team, including me, believed that we needed to do this to get feedback, even if it's like negative feedback. We still needed to hear from the community that this is what they wanted, or what part of the alpha build they didn't like. And we were almost like ashamed to put it out there. And we were still like, delaying the decision until the last minute. And we're like, this is not like what we want the game to be eventually. So we shouldn't be showing it at all. And on the other side, we should just, put it out there anyway, so we'll get, productive feedback. And we believe that our community would do that for us, because we saw like so much excitement when Brandon first said that he would be making his own like standalone Battle Royale game. And there has never been a standalone Battle Royale game, right? So,
right.
It's the first standalone Battle Royale game, because all other Battle Royale games were built on top of the base games that are supposed to be survival games. So we believed in the community. I think I kind of, I didn't answer your question, but.
Well, you kind of did. It was kind of like the fear, right? The fear when you put it out, which is like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, right? Like that's basically what it is. That's basically anytime I interview someone who I think is like, like the term in dating, someone's out of your league. right? You know, like, oh, I can't talk to him. I would never ask her out. Like, they're out of my league. That's basically anytime I interview people. So like last week or like before it was Scoom, then it was Jad, and then it was you. And I was like, oh God, right? And I'm like, no, we should delay this a week. Like, you know, but at the same time, you do it, right? So I completely understand. But and I've been a part of startups before in which we did like app games. So I completely understand that. You put it out, you're like, should we do this? Like, oh God, are people gonna hate it? And you hope that you get the constructive, like the positive feedback. But at the same time, the negative feedback also says a lot too, right? You just find in there, you're like, you can turn that into a positive. So I think that's natural to have that fear.
People who played our pre-alpha and alpha will remember that, like last year when we did our first play tests, the game started in the storage building. It didn't start in a plane. So people were running out of that starting building to grab loot, and then we heard a lot of feedback that we should bring like airplanes. We should bring C-160, is it? Anyway, we got a lot of feedback that they wanted the airplanes they see in Arma 3 Battle Royale. So we decided that, okay, so we're not going with the starting building. We're going to bring that airplane back to VR.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect example of like the feedback from the community. So speaking of positive stuff, what's like one of the best moments you've had like since you started working at Bluehole that you would have never imagined when you made like the switch from your previous like, you know, working at PR firms and stuff and being an interpreter really?
Best feeling, okay. First of all, every time I watch a new trailer, I cry as soon as I finish watching it, because I watched about like 6 or 7 trailers so far. We had like a pre-alpha trailer, alpha trailer, beta trailer, early access trailer, and a couple of other trailers too. You know, I cry because it shows how far we've come. It shows the hard work of our dev team. I respect like our dev team a lot. They work so hard, and I just admire them a lot. So it, you know, gives me that feeling that they deserve the recognition that they're getting now. And I think my job is very important because it's about making their hard work get recognized as well, as much as it is to communicate with our community. So every time I watch a new trailer, that's like the best feeling. Like I'm part of this great team that is working really hard. And it's one of the reasons why I get like triggered really easily when people tell me to like fix the game, because we are fixing the game like
right.
Every like day and night we're working on the game. But sometimes not all bugs are like easy to fix. Not every bug or glitch can be fixed like in a day or in a week, and optimizing takes some time, and they're working as hard as they can. Like no one.
It's like because people can't see it and they only see you as the person communicating, right? It's like they don't see you actually working on. They don't see a video of you like actually working on the game. They just assume that no one's doing anything there. I mean, it's kind of like the interview like with Jat last week, Wildcard. You know. Like Ark has been out a while, but he'll even be tweeting with friends online, not wildcard related, right? And they'll say like something like, "How is your family?" And he's like, "Speaking of family, my dinosaur family needs to be fixed. What are you doing about the game?" And just completely interjected into it. It's like as if it's like an easy thing. Like there's a switch you have off screen that's like fix game, and you could just flip it, you know? And you're not doing it. It's like, why aren't you doing it, Sammy? Why won't you just do it already? Like I don't understand that.
People tell me like stop tweeting and go back to your office and fix the game, and I was like, I'm the lead community manager and I don't know how to use Unreal Engine. But you know, if I just, you know, take a deep breath, it's kind of understandable because you don't get to see what's happening here, and you don't get to see how our devs are like working day and night to fix stuff. And you know, I feel like we should do a better job of making sure that the roadmap or the milestones we're hitting is visualized and it's shared more on our social media and our forums. So I think I still need to improve and do better to make it more transparent. So that's something we're going to prove. We are going to improve with the new members of the community team in the next few weeks.
I honestly think that someone should teach you how to like do things like just the very basic, right? And have like just a Sammy update where you've coded something, right? And put it out for like a day and show how poor it is because that's not your job to do it. And be like, you guys wanted Sammy to work. We put it to work and here's the update, right? And just have it like completely not work and be like, when you guys demand that someone like code the game and work on that stuff that doesn't do it, this is what's going to happen. I feel like that's the only way those people will like learn, right? Like I don't understand how they yell at people to do that kind of thing. It'd be like yelling at a bus driver, stop picking up the kids from their houses and go back to teaching them. Like that's not the position. Like that's not like that doesn't make any sense at all, you know? Like okay.
Another thing that I want to really communicate more often is that like adding new guns or vehicles or different components to the game doesn't mean that we're not focusing on optimization or optimizing the servers. So we have like a different team dedicated to server optimization and another team that creates arts, makes characters and items. And we just launched our Twitch Prime like exclusive skin pack. And people thought, stop adding new content to your game and just fix the game. But we have like different people working on those like new things, right? So I feel like I need to communicate more often and make sure that people get to know our devs as a person, as not as like a group of people that do not have faces and that just live in Korea. Because there's like, we started with 20 people, now we have many more, but they are like dedicated people that feel like personally and professionally responsible for what they are doing. And it's difficult for me because they don't do social media. Some of them speak English, some of them don't, and they don't have time to do social media. They're not really interested in that because they got to do work.
Right.
So I feel like if this team was full of people who speak English fluently, they would be doing social media more often or would be interested in doing occasionally. But I feel like that's something that...
There's ultimately a barrier there, obviously.
Right. And even if they did, they wouldn't have time to. And they'd be still told to go fix the game, stop tweeting, like stuff.
Exactly. They'd be like, I can't believe you made it into a Twitter account because when I do this happens. Why are you even... What do you mean you use the bathroom? Why are you using the bathroom? The game needs to be worked on. Like, I feel like that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what would happen, Like, okay, so speaking of explaining things more clearly, I figure we move on to level 3 here. Level 3 is what I call explain that tweet. So we pick out tweets generally with pictures from your past, and we'd like a little more explanation or to give us a little more of a backstory on them. So the first tweet I have here seems to be a reply, and if you could explain what is really happening here. Say, this is how I cope with being terrible at Battle Royale.
Yeah. This is the exact tweet that I tweeted out when I failed to kill that last person in H1 kill when I was streaming. So XPulZ, he's a really sweet friend of mine. He carried me all the way to top 2, and he was like, he died for me, and he got shot by this other person, and I was in top 2. So all I had to do was just shoot that guy, not even in the head, just anywhere in his body, and I would get that chicken dinner. And I panicked like so much, and I was just shooting like the tree, and that like opponent had like 10% health. So I missed like the only chance I had to get my first and last chicken dinner in a Battle Royale game. So I died, and then I just, kept, hitting the desk with my keyboard. I was really like angry that I messed up.
But hey, that tree is done. Like, no more tree.
I used to enjoy H1Z1 a lot. I think it's a really fun game, and I miss playing it. And it was like ISCO gave me 2 chances to win a game in H1Z1, and I missed the 2 opportunities.
Maybe one day you'll get them.
One day. I feel like I need to practice at least 20 hours a week. And then maybe I'll get a little bit better by the end of this year.
Well, that's all we can hope for, right? Small improvements, baby steps. So the next tweet I have here is a picture of you. Seems like maybe it's the obvious. And you say, I want 100 friends who will look at me the way I look at my phone.
So I get teased a lot in the dev team. People, like, there's a joke in the dev team that you should never have lunch or dinner with community managers, because all the community managers in the dev team, like myself and our community manager for Korea, like we all we're glued to our phone. We check Twitter or forums or Discord a lot, and we're just glued to it like almost 24/7. So I got teased that day, and then my coworker took a picture of me just staring at my phone when I was just waiting for other people to leave for dinner, I think. So I thought it was funny, so I tweeted that out after.
Yeah, I was honestly surprised at how when just replying to me this week, no matter what time it was there, you replied. I honestly thought you were some kind of computer program. I didn't even think you were real. I thought they just like grabbed like a stock photo of some woman online and then like did it, because you replied so quickly every time to doing it. So I could see why they should say never go to dinner with a community manager.
I haven't replied as fast as before recently, so that has
because you're getting older, or
no, it's because I'm busier than last year or earlier this year, so it has been giving me like guilt trips. So I feel bad. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, don't feel bad because you like replied way faster than I did this week. So thank you for that. Okay. So speaking of feeling bad, the next tweet I have here is is this a balloon or some kind of blow up? Where is this? I mean, you mentioned they won't play with you, but I mean, this is fairly recently.
Yeah, I think this was the day after Friday, I think, or I think this was a couple of days after our internal play test. And I think we were randomly paired up with another dev to play during the internal play test and test out this new build that will go out in the following week or something. And then when Marek, our gunplay programmer, was paired with me, I think he was really sad that he was paired with me.
And how'd that go?
Well, we were just randomly paired, like within this like dev, everyone who joined the game to be part of the internal play test, and he was just randomly paired with me. And he was like, I'm paired with Poopski. Like he calls me Poopski because he says that that's the Polish version of Poopy. So he's a very competitive player. He used to be like an ex CS 1.6 player when he was much younger.
Oh. And
he's really good at our own game. So he was pretty sad because he knows like every time I play a game, play Battlegrounds or H1Z1 or other types of VR games, I die like in the first 5 to 10 minutes. So he knew that he had to go solo after the first 5 or 10 minutes. So he was really sad. So I just tweeted out. I saw this balloon and tweeted this out and then sent it to Marek later.
And how did he do?
He's always good. He's always like in top 5 or at least top 10.
Does he hold it over your head at all? Like still where
no,
he brings it up?
Again after that because I got so busy. But like I would I would give him my like monthly salary if I could live his life and be like as good as him in our game for like a month. I would pay him that much to have that ability.
Yeah, no, I same thing. I would pay good money to be that skilled in games like that. It would be so much fun, as opposed to me where I'm just like it's anxiety ridden. Like I just don't have the skill.
Yeah, I think like Battleground is still fun when you suck at it, but I would love to have that feeling where you get like 10 kills and finally get the chicken dinner, or at least like camp a lot, and then in the end you just find that one person hiding behind the tree and you just get the headshot and get the dinner. Like I would love to feel that like every day.
Yeah. Well, just the confidence knowing that there's a pretty good chance you're gonna like be able to win at some point, you know?
At some point, yeah. That's what makes me keep going.
Right, exactly. Okay, so the next one I have is actually an Instagram photo. And you hashtag it Halloween, but I'm not quite sure what this has to do with Halloween. I don't know what costume this is or anything like that. Maybe it's just because I'm like a Halloween noob or something. But it seems like basically maybe this is like a weapon coming up for Battleground or something. You're gonna get like a fork add in, or I don't know. Maybe it was testing. But what's going on here?
I was dressed up as one of the high school girls in the Battle Royale movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, I was dressed as one of the high school girls, and I actually had a frying pan in my hand that day, but for some reason I'm holding a fork in that picture. I don't know why. Maybe I was eating a cake or something.
I don't think they did that in that movie. I think you're a little out of character there.
I don't think so. But I had like a frying pan. I was carrying a frying pan everywhere during Halloween. I took my frying pan to all the parties that I went to last year.
Now I just want a friend that looks at me the way that you look at Pan, like I guess. Okay, so I had one more tweet that we look at, but it seems like it does not exist. Seems like it was edited. So maybe you found out what we were going to share, and you gave it the axe before we could bring it up. Oh, is it? Oh, for me it does not work. But does it work? Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the interpreting one. So, how long ago was this? And
I think it was this year, right before PAX East, and I left for Seattle to work from our Seattle office. Bluehole has an American publisher. Bluehole developed Terra and other mobile games before Battleground. So we have an American publisher that is part of the bigger Bluehole family. So I was working from that office right before PAX East, and I thought I would never come back. I would be staying in Seattle to work with our community team and build up a community team that focuses on English-speaking communities. But I had to come back to work with our dev team and then discuss like our next steps this year. So I thought I would never come back, and I thought that would be my last time interpreting for Playerunknown. So I was like really emotional. And this was like in front of a dozen of Korean journalists who were invited to our office to test Battlegrounds. So I was interpreting for Playerunknown and our other executives while they were explaining the history of Battlegrounds and how we started developing the game.
Sounds a little bit stressful, maybe.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, translating for PU is really fun because I think it's a very rare opportunity. You get to do that. You actually get to translate for the creator of a game. I think it's a rare opportunity, and it's always fun to do that because a lot of the Korean audience like appreciate me for doing that, and he always has like interesting personal stories. So it's really fun to translate it. It's more interesting than engineer meetings where you will talk about codes and bugs and new bugs that were introduced during this week's patch.
Yeah, I'm sure that can be not nearly as fun to talk about as opposed to someone's personal stories.
Mm.
Speaking of explaining and maybe answering questions, the next segment we have is community questions, right? One of the questions I was asked this week, if I could ask you, was that for specific games when you play in, right? Say you get, whatever you finish and stuff like that. Is there ever going to be like a report afterwards that you can potentially look at to see the stats that happen in that specific game, or like, who you killed and stuff like that? Because for me, I don't necessarily kill a lot of people, but I would like to go back and look at to see if like any big names killed me, and then I could tweet them and be like, hey, thanks for killing me. It was a real pleasure to meet you in game, like, and stuff like that. So is there ever going to be like a report afterwards you can look at the stats for that game specifically?
Well, I have to explain the way we have been developing Battlegrounds. I know that some other publishers develop games by coming up with a solid plan and then building up the elements that are in the plan. But what we do is we want to start like fast, and we're open to failing fast and getting feedback, even if it's like work in progress. So we don't start with like a full like plan with all the scope of work. We just build something from scratch and then develop that further, get feedback and iterate. We repeat that process. So we are working on a 2D and 3D replay system, as Playerunknown shared before. So we will put that out and get feedback and add like new elements or improve it. So it depends on how those systems will turn out after we put it out. But there's a possibility that the details you mentioned will be in there, and you will see like a kill cam kind of thing as well in there.
So one of our moderators, Tia Aurora, actually, you early on, she made a couple of videos that you gave as a content creator. You gave her out one of the games for free for that. She wants to know, are there ever going to be any skins to change our in-game underwear? Because she thinks the underwear currently is a little bit old school, and she would like more options for like bras and panties and stuff, like say pink or purple or something along those lines. She thinks that they currently look more like granny underwear, really.
Well, I will talk about this to our senior character artist. It is definitely an interesting idea, but we will be slowly introducing like new clothing items in the future. So I don't know if people will get to see underwear a lot in Battlegrounds, but it is definitely an interesting idea.
Okay. So I have a question from Shrabi, and that is, who is your favorite Battlegrounds streamer? Like, who do you, when you have the free time, you said you watch Twitch. Who do you find yourself clicking or looking for when you go online and watch?
These days, I watch everyone that is new. So I just scroll. Sometimes I watch Twitch on TV because there's like an Android app that is accessible on my like internet TV. So I just turn it on and then just scroll through the entire list and find someone new. Because there's always someone new. Like I find someone new every day that I never, have watched before. So that's what I do. And then I used to watch like people will know this. I used to watch like 8 streams at once. Mm-hmm. So I would just watch 8 streams using like 2 monitors, and then on this main monitor I would be working. And I did that a lot during our second alpha and closed beta, so I could like quickly pick up the issues that are happening on servers and answer people's questions and explain to people about how we're giving access to data and how early access will happen. So I used to do that a lot, and I'd be watching different streamers every day. Before our pre-alpha was our alpha was streamable, I used to watch a lot of Arma 3 DR players.
Okay.
So I used to watch Halifax, KZ, Drake, those three names. I think they come to mind. But yeah, for Battlegrounds, I just watch everyone so I can get like new, fresh feedback.
So speaking of streamers, one of the streamers in the chat right now is Sterdeki. Sterdeki is regularly in Dear Someone's videos, not necessarily for good solid play, but for entertainment purposes. No offense, Deggy, I love you, buddy. He asks, "What is your favorite flavor of? Is that soju? Is that how it's pronounced?" So yeah. So what's your favorite flavor?
Well, I just drink whatever's there, I guess. I like whiskey, but soju, they have like grapefruit, lemon, peach, plain. There are a lot of flavors that have been like released recently because they did not have so many flavors before. And I think it's a girly drink. Like soju with flavors, that's girly. Like you have to drink plain soju. That's like real like soju. But
Okay, good to know. I've never had it, so that's good to know. When I've tried for the first time, don't get any flavors. I'll also be judged accordingly. Okay, so it's almost been an hour, and I figured that we should get to like the boss level 5 boss level question, right? We want you to, or I'm looking for you to dig deep and give me like an honest assessment, you know, of how you feel about yourself and how things would go. So let's say all of a sudden, you know, you just wake up, right? And this is real life. You just wake up in a plane, you know, and there's 199 other people, and you all have to parachute out and go down to an island, and you realize, oh, I'm in a battle. This is my game, but real life. What's happening, and how are you doing, and what area of the map are you going for, or what are you trying to do? Like, give us a realistic assessment of if in your brain all of a sudden you're parachuting down and you're like, oh shit, this is what's happening. What are you doing?
well, I panic a lot in real life as well, and I really get into the work or the situation that I'm in, and sometimes I find it difficult to distance myself away from the situation. So I would be like fully focused on achieving the goal that I'm given, but I would panic first, and then I think I would go to the place that I know a lot about, and then try to loot as much as possible. And then later I will realize that I don't need some loot. So I'll learn over time. And then I think I'm a person that thrives under pressure, although I tend to be quite emotional and sometimes impatient. I will learn like over time that I don't need this many loot, and then learn from other people. And then I think not in like Battlegrounds, but in real life, if I were, you know, asked to be the last man standing after jumping out that plane, I think I would do a pretty good job of surviving. At least I think I would be in top 5.
You think you'd be top 5?
Yeah.
I think my first move would be in the plane, be like, anybody want a team? Like, I hate teaming in video games, but in real life, I'd be like, hey, who wants? I have a really rare shirt here. Do you want this shirt? Do you want a team? Who wants the team? That would be my first move. Like, I will never team in video games, but in real life that happened, I'd be like, I'd be like, Sammy, let's do this. We're teaming. You and me. I'm sorry. Like, and I would just follow you.
Follow like a really experienced person. I'd find that person and follow that person's lead first until I can survive on my own.
Right? You'd be like really sneaky, like tiptoe behind them.
Person like, hey, I don't know how to survive, so you gotta teach me. So I'll make friends with that person and learn how he survives. And then if I survive until that person and I are the only people left in the island, I'd be like, hey, so we're the only people left here, and I might have to kill you to win this game. So let's make this a fair fight and maybe fight with a person.
So what, you do like the walk 10 spaces or 10 paces, turn around and like fire or something like that? You're super nice. I don't think you would have survived very well like in the Battle Royale movie, honestly. I feel like you're way too friendly for that. They'd be like, hey, so it's only me and you left. And be like, bam. Like, I feel like that's the way it would go.
But you can trick that person. Be friendly and trick that person. Like, I'm your best friend. And then you survive. And then, like, it kind of sounds really selfish and evil. But you got to do what you got to do to survive in Battle Royale. So.
Basically like how you became like close with Brennan, right? A PlayerUnknown. You interpreted for him. You're like, hey, I'm your best friend. Let me help you out. Gain his trust, and then bam, next thing you know, in the company. Boom. All right. Well, I think that's a good way to end it. Thank you so much for coming and being on the show. I know it's late. You didn't have to do that. I really appreciate it. Made me very nervous to do all this, out of my league, and everything like that. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun. I was nervous too, but I think this was great. I got to talk about how much I love our dev team and the game, and how I want to continue to be the person that speaks to the community. And we have like an awesome team now. It's just not just me working, anymore. So we have like really awesome people that you will get to see a lot more often going forward.
That's fantastic. We'll have to have you back on again as the game develops and goes forward, and even when it when it releases, we'll have to have you back, and you can tell us even more on how things have developed. That would be fantastic if you'd be willing.
Things will be a lot different later this year when our game is out, because everything changes every week. Like, you wake up, things are different. The numbers change. Our game has like different content. It changes so fast.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting. All right. Well, you guys, we will have tournaments next Saturday. You can sign up at the website, and I'm sure that you will see retweets from some people. And thank you, Stifler, for shoutcasting yesterday, and thank you, Sammy, for coming on the show. And we will let you get to bed or get to work. I don't even know like what you're going to do now, to be quite honest. But thank you very much.
We have like a lot of press conferences that we'll be part of during E3. So tune in for that. We'll be tweeting it out as well.
Fantastic. Everyone look for that. And Jackal is signing off, and we will see you guys next time.